Okay, you done? We going?
We're going.
Okay, hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm not going to be doing a normal questions and answers type thing with Daily, and you've probably seen the news that the release date has been announced. I'll be talking about that more tomorrow, because I've got some ideas about that maybe you guys can have some feedback on. But for today, in the stress tests yesterday, I managed to find another mini dungeon, and since I've had quite a lot of fun with the previous mini dungeon we did, I thought it would be cool to show you this one off. So for those purposes, I've got Magical Mike with me once again. You may have seen him in the World vs. World video. Say hi, Mike.
Oh, what ho chaps, and hi Mike.
Okay, brilliant, very nice. And yeah, this dungeon is at the top of the Gendarran foothills. Did you actually come here at all in the beta, Mike?
This is the area, the newest area, right, outside of Lion's Arch? No,
Yeah.
I haven't been out yet.
Yeah, no, this wasn't actually available in the first beta, but it was in the second one. Was that when they introduced Lion's Arch as well in the second one?
No, Lion's Arch was in the first one, remember?
Oh yeah, of course it was.
We did all that ridiculous stuff with the diving board.
Yeah, definitely. So basically the newest beta weekend event actually, and the stress test as well, introduced this area to us. This is kind of the place just above Lion's Arch where all the races would reconvene. So this is a level 25 to 35, I want to say, area.
This is the way in, but
yeah.
first, get the waypoint.
Yeah. So basically, I just found, well, I was running around here, and we found these random guys. I'd already seen the dungeon, and went through it with the one guy you see in my party at the moment, Gimli. He was there in the previous dungeon video as well. And I went in there, but we just got decimated, so we were like, oh, damn it. We walked off, and I just found these guys out near the Ascalon settlement, fighting a bunch of centaurs. So I was like, hey, do you want to come do a dungeon? And got some aid, but no one had ever done it before, so if we do some crazy stuff here, this is like all of our first proper run through, so go easy on us.
Well, I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
Just fighting some crabs and, I don't know, what... Oh,
yeah.
the waypoint's all the way over there, I see, right. Okay.
Yeah, so they were just grabbing the waypoint and we were killing stuff. The thing is, I found on the other dungeon that we did, I had so much fun the first time running through it, figuring out all the puzzles, but it took us hours and hours and hours, and it was just not worth it for a video. But this one was quite good, because this is quite a short dungeon, but this is our first time figuring out the puzzle, so you get to kind of see how we do it.
Well, it looks like you've already figured some of it out. You know some fire, apparently. And
yeah.
You must have been in there and gone, oh god, I need help.
Yeah, basically, the first time we went in there, you'll see it in a second, there's a bunch of fire, and yeah, we kind of got roasted. But then we went back, got past it, and then got destroyed by something else, so we decided to ignore that. Anyway, I thought I'd speak to that NPC out the front. He's like the only person that tells you about this dungeon or why it even exists.
Eggs? You mentioned eggs, that's all I managed to catch from him.
Yeah, he mentioned a spider, which you'll see in a second. But we get in, and this is everyone's first time, except for mine, who'd only seen the fire before. I somehow knew that was going to happen. We'd just come in and everyone would be dead.
There's drake heads on the walls. People should know that by now, come on.
Yeah,
they're all playing up.
Always spit the fire, except that one drake head we had to put the fire in World vs. World, which was kind of weird. But this isn't as simple as that one we did in World vs. World, where you had to like roll past. You will still die if you're not careful. I actually took you see I'm using my greatsword here.
Oh yeah. Greatsword was good. Greatsword was great fun.
Yeah, oh snap.
Said that.
I see what you did there. No, that was so fun. Skill 2 with Frenzy. I've already told you this before.
Oh,
but
look at that.
I love
There's
it.
some skill there.
Yeah, so that was my way of getting through the fire. It might be a little bit of a cheat, but I never died doing that, going through the fire. Later though, I think we come back without a greatsword. Spoilers, we do die at one point coming through here.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Yeah, and I don't have the greatsword when I come back, and I try and get through, and I think you will see me die on that fire eventually. But there's a few here.
Sure.
And this is the second room. Spikes.
I'm not a big fan of the spikes. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
And you've not got enough time. I'm assuming these spikes are going to come up before anyone can res you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what happens. I think I managed to get rezzed here, actually. I might, but the thing is, this was a couple of attempts, again, cutting through most of the crap that was going on with them. I think it might not be this time that I come back, but later on we were trying to res someone, but his death penalty was too high or whatever, and it was impossible to get him up. Absolutely impossible. Because, as you said, the spikes just keep coming up and impaling you. I don't know whether that's something they should fix, though, because there's a bit of a punishment for dying on them. I mean...
Well, maybe not at the start of the dungeon, but with the Plains of Ashford one, the first one that people really found, right? There's that little corridor with a bunch of spikes going in. It's fairly easy to time your way through them, but if you're just tired and derping like I was in mine...
And like I am.
God, yeah, I was terrible at that. I could not time that for crap. and I just died constantly in the middle of those. I had a person able to try and help me up, and I was able to almost help myself up with the call for aid skill, the down skill, number 4,
Yeah,
whatever
the
that's
number
called.
4. Yeah, that's it.
So close, but it would just take so long, and people would just give up. They'd be like, well, you know what, sod it, you can go and res yourself and go and revive yourself. I was like, oh, good, team spirit and all that.
Yeah, it's like
But,
you can see it here. A perfect example. It's like you get stuck in res limbo or something. It happens as well, I find, when you're drowning in the water. If
Res
something's
limbo.
still attacking you at your feet, you can just you get destroyed. So anyway, we struggle with the spikes a little bit, but we go up through the left. And
Notice your inventory's full again.
yeah,
Standard.
when I started playing on this event, I was like, oh, I need to clean out my inventory. I was being stupid before. I didn't realise you could just deposit any like crafting items you wanted by hitting right click and depositing. So I was like, I've got to do this so I don't look like a complete noob. And then by the time the dungeon started, what had happened? My inventory had filled up again. It was just so ridiculous. I forget when you complete hearts that you can go and just speak. Well, I know that they sell stuff to you, but I always forget you should just sell your crap
Sell
after.
junk, yeah.
Yeah, I rarely go and buy stuff. Anyway, this is the next room. On my right here in this corridor, I don't see it yet, but there's actually a secret passageway down there, which we'll get back to later. But this room here, as I said, it's not a very big dungeon, actually. But he's like a boss that happens halfway through, I suppose. We're kind of at the halfway mark in some ways. A champion spider, this was who the Norm was mentioning out the front.
I can just barely read this. The poisons.
Yeah.
I've had to downgrade my quality a bit, so...
Yeah, he poisons you. He does a lot more than that. This is our first time fighting him, which was pretty cool. We were doing okay. You've obviously got the spikes on the floor that you just need to be careful of.
Are those spikes?
Yeah.
Because nobody's walked into them, nothing's popped up. I was about to ask what that trap was.
Yeah, it's spikes. It's a bit weird, I think. I think this fight, even though it's a very hard fight, I think it would be more fun if they made the spider less difficult to kill. As you can see, I'm about to get owned by the ads. If they made the spider less difficult to kill, but had those spikes moving around the room, so you had to be careful. Yeah, and then I backed straight up into that pit, which was bloody annoying.
There it is. There it is.
That's game over for me now. I just start dying way too quickly. I think some of my arm was breaking, but as you'll see in a second, yeah, I go down again.
I think I might be behind a bit. Oh, there we go. Gone down.
Yeah. The spiders are ridiculous on this. The little thing, the key to fighting this spider, as I said, the first time I came in here with Gimli, this is where we died. We realised we cannot kill this champion. I've been finding that a lot recently. Have you? You come up to some ridiculously difficult boss and you're just like, screw it, I can't be bothered anymore.
Well, yesterday in the stress test, we actually came across the champion as Fanir. Or was it just Fanir? Whatever, the guy that comes out of his big throne room and it's all icy in there.
Yeah.
I'll probably have a video of that going up at some point, because...
Nice plug.
Nice plug. Wasn't intentional, but you'll get to see what I'm talking about. I fought it in melee for the longest time, and it actually isn't that difficult to deal with. It's just that we had a little bit of lag, or my reaction time was a bit derpy or whatever. He channels his attacks so well, and it's really obvious to spot when he's going to do them. But I was just too stupid to dodge out of the way every time, and it's just a bunch of times when I go down. I think I only die once right at the end.
Oh, not bad.
I still find that people don't res you as fast as I'd like them to.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be stood right next to a bunch of allies and they'll try and res you up, or like immediately, or they'll just not see that you've gone down or whatever, and they won't until it's too late, and it'll take too much time to actually get you back up. But I find that sorry, I'm interrupting.
What?
Those people that do res you immediately as soon as you've gone down, that it's much better, and it's a hell of a lot easier to get back into the swing of things if they res you immediately.
Yeah. And the thing I find that annoys me most as well is that, well, it doesn't annoy me that much, but one person might be resing you. You might be in a huge group, and one person might be resing you, and it's like it's stacked. Everyone can chip in, and everyone can help and get you up much quicker. But they tend to see that just one person's resing. They're like, oh, I don't need to bother with that. I don't know. I'm more of the impression that you could be much quicker about it, and it would be much more beneficial if everyone just quickly got down, helped the person up, and then just got back to the fight. Not necessarily everyone,
yeah.
but
I'm under the impression that as long as there's something to take the boss's attention, just anything, just dodging around and doing whatever the hell they need to, more bodies on the field is always going to be better than just, oh, we'll try and get him up slowly and we'll just deal with it. No, you want more people on the field so that you can keep that boss distracted for longer.
Yeah, it's a question of cooldowns as well. I tend to people can blow all their cooldowns, and then if they all just get down and res you while they're recharging, just spending that less amount of time is probably going to be more. I don't know whether that's for sure though. Maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to have most of the team helping res one person, but because it does stack, I always just get a little bit I always
You want
consider
at
that.
least a couple of people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to take too long to get that person up.
Yeah, by the way, this is ridiculous here. You see, the spike still hit me. I was trying so hard to time that right. But yeah, one of us actually goes down in this chamber now.
I also just noticed a couple of seconds ago, you jumped over that Drake head. Do you reckon that would have worked? Because the fire wasn't actually gouting at that time as well, so...
Yeah.
Do you reckon that was a cheap tactic or not?
I saw the guy do it in front of me, and I thought, I don't think it's a cheap I don't think it's cheating at the very least. I think, play smart, and you could get over.
I'm wondering if it actually would have worked if the fire was going at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because if it did work, then that would just basically ruin that whole bit, right? Wouldn't it? It's
Yeah.
like the fire may as well not be there, which I suppose is interesting. Maybe that it would have worked. But yeah, we come and fight the... You may not have seen, somebody's actually dead in the back room at the moment. He can't get back in. That's the guy in my team. And it had already happened on the run. He died at some point and we went back. One of the times we failed against this spider was because half of us went to fight the champion while the other half of us were like back trying to res him on the spikes. It was just... It all collapsed. So this time he's dead back there. He can't quite get in and I'm just like, oh, fine.
Somebody's got him back up or he's gone back to the waypoint. So.
Yeah, he'll run back and just keep trying to get in, but I don't think he ever does, sadly. But yeah, so this time we actually all fight the spider. We have a bit of a... This was a cool fight, I think. I was going to say earlier, I've been getting irritated. One of the most frustrating things I found with the game is that there are some enemies that are designed for groups to kill, clearly, like this guy. But when
the O-cards.
Yeah.
The big O-cards.
Yeah, the veteran ones and just generally champions are, in my opinion, things that probably a team's going to have to take out. But I've been finding that if you're scaled down, you go back to an early area, you can actually kill a few of them on your own. But the most frustrating thing in the game is that most of those fights take so long. And if you die right at the end before you've killed that champion, it's happened to me too many times now. And I've just been... It's one of the most frustrating things for me. I've just decided now...
I totally agree, because he'll back up and it'll take... do I really have to go back there and kill him all over again?
Yeah.
But I found in the first beta, I don't know if this was a bug or what, I had almost got a char effigy down. And then much later on, I just got credit for it. Like, I was nowhere near the area, and I just got credit for that. So, when somebody else went and took him down, I got the credit. So maybe that was a bug, maybe that's intentional. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems lenient. It seems okay.
Well, it benefited you at the very least. I mean, that's not the kind of thing...
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just a bit frustrating. So when we first came in, we saw this spider, we died very quickly, and then decided, no, we need some backup. And I think what's so cool. They talk a lot with this game about, it's so good for making MMOs sociable. And that was actually something kind of cool. I can imagine a lot of people coming in and being like, oh, I can't kill the spider, this is stupid. But actually, I kind of left there now thinking, right, I want to find people. And it was really fun to go and do a completely different, unrelated event elsewhere with these guys and be like, hey, look, you could all really help me do this thing. And then we went along and they actually came over. I think if that kind of stuff's happening a lot in the game at launch, that could be really, really cool. And I certainly had a lot of fun doing it here.
I reckon the game's launch is going to be great. The game's going to be absolutely bloody amazing. But I'm worried about how good the longevity of that sort of stuff's going to be. But that's a completely different topic. You died a minute. You went down a minute ago and rallied. How did you rally? I didn't see anyone rezzing you.
No, it was Vengeance, which is why after the spider was dead...
No, before Vengeance, you went down and then you rallied. And then you went down again and then you used Vengeance.
Could have been one of the small spiders that died.
Ah.
Those spiders, by the way, just to clarify, if anyone wants to try this in one of the future beta weekend events or a stress test, the next one, should I say, the last one, those spiders focus the damn spiders. They do a lot of damage, but they die pretty quick. It's one of those cool boss fights, actually, that encourages you to fight the ads, and it was really cool. So anyway, we've got this room now.
I don't know what that door said.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you manage to read it or not? But you go up to it, and it basically explains. The door's shut. But you can open it. I mean, at first, when I first saw it, I thought, is this just a fob off? Does this mean we can't get any further? Because I had no idea where else we could go. But it says that there's a mechanism somewhere that will open the door. And you now get a puzzle. A little bit like the puzzles that we saw in the Font of Rand before, but maybe not so unforgiving.
Maybe not, no.
Yeah, but it was quite...
These rocks destructible?
The rocks, no, these are...
these are eggs, right,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, these are egg sacs.
Ah, that's why that guy was giving clues outside, I see.
Yeah, so there you go. Basically, though, I think it encourages you to come into this room and start smashing the egg sacs, thinking, oh, is one of these going to have a lever in it that you can grab, maybe as an environmental weapon?
That doesn't make much sense, does it?
No, but I tried it anyway, that's the only thing we could interact with in the room. And we broke them all, as I think you're going to see. but nothing comes out of them. So I think that's kind of cool, actually, because they make you just spawn all these extra enemies and then realise, oh dear, this actually...
Oh, that was a waste of time, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's cool that it's actually a part of the puzzle. It's like, again, in the Font of Rand, those coffins that you could open, and some of them spawn enemies, and it's a waste of time, but you learn, oh, that's irrelevant, and then you just don't do it. Anyway, now we find this little passageway here.
Oh, jeez, that was well hidden.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like, when you first come into the area, you don't see it, but as you're leaving the area, you are going to see it. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to be sarcastic. It just sounded a bit...
Oh, right.
My bad.
Yeah, no, well, so basically there's this hidden passageway here. As I say, it is quite a short mini dungeon. You might have seen some boulders. In fact, I think you can still see one laying around here. And there's some at the entrance, there's a few at the entrance. And if you see this guy here, there's a pressure pad. Can you put two and two together?
Put a boulder on pressure pad.
Yeah, pretty much. But which is cool.
Could somebody just stand on that as well and open the door for you?
I'm not sure. I think for a moment, you'll see I might even type about it. I think that might have happened while we were there, because the door opens in a minute and we don't have... There's not just one pressure pad here, there's a few in like this little maze.
Ah, I see.
And I think you need to get boulders on every single one. And
yeah,
I saw...
Ideally, you don't want loads of people stood on pressure pads to get one person through a door, do you?
Yeah. Well, they did that in Guild Wars 1, didn't they, with the Deep, which was pretty crazy. You had to do stupid stuff to get around it. But, well, there, and in the Deep, you could go behind the door and there'd be a way to open it permanently, which was quite cool. But that's not what's going on here. You will see that the last pressure pad, nobody's got a rock, nobody's holding a rock or it's dropped one on it, but a guy stood on it, and at that same moment everyone's like, oh hey, the door's open, this is amazing. This pressure pad here, you'll see in a sec.
Ah, I see. Right.
So I don't know whether people standing on it does work. Maybe you just need pressure on all three pads and then you've got, like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something where the door will be open.
Oh, so the door stays open even if you remove pressure from a pad, right?
It seems so, but now there's a rock on that anyway, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how it works, but regardless, that does open the door. And
just put rocks on, be safe.
Yeah.
Top tip from me there.
Courtesy of Magical Mike. Everyone that ever does this dungeon, now remember that. Thank you. And yeah, so this is the end, really. Once again, I mean, have you had any experiences really with crappy loot in Guild Wars 2 so far?
I've got no good loot at all. All of my stuff, all of my skins have been basic and boring and just meh. I can see you've got a decent shield there. That looks cool. But,
oh yeah, yeah. I've got the great swords, also a really awesome skin. I got that for completing the Diasa Plateau. Those were cool skins. But the Font of Rand, I never got anything great for. And there was that whole thing with the stuff not even coming out the chest.
You might have done if it didn't bug out.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a chance actually. A lot of people have been saying that it was still going into my inventory. It's a bit like in the World versus World thing as well. The stuff was in my inventory.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. But here, I really did get crap all from this dungeon, which is a bit of a shame. But that's the kind of stuff I guess they'll iron out later towards release, which is now imminent, I suppose.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Which worries me a bit. Are you a bit worried now that release is coming? It still seems like there's a lot
I've
to
got
work
loads of stuff to do, and now I've only got 2 months to do it before I'll be permanently glued to my keyboard with this. Oh, why?
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say as well that doing this kind of commentary where I wasn't involved in this thing, and just seeing it, it's actually really confusing and kind of hard to do.
Oh, really?
So I just want to give a shout out to Xavier here, because everybody was raging at him for being clueless in that last video, and come on guys, give him a break. It's his choice, and it was more fun to have him in the video, let's admit that. And
Yeah.
it gave you a reason to be angry, and being angry is fun.
Especially on the internet.
What am I talking about? What was the message here? The message is lost.
I think Xavier's fine. It was pretty good. I think he learned quite a lot out of it anyway. But there, that's the dungeon. That's the dungeon. It's not much. You will see me, that guy that was dead for the whole end bit. I now run in after waving goodbye to help him up at last, because he's about to go down, which is a shame. But hey, the game is unforgiving when you go alone in some places. What do you think about this having to be It's very quickly. What do you think about this having to be a group experience rather than just a solo? Do you like that, or does that annoy you a bit?
It does annoy me a bit. I'd love it if I was able to solo everything if the scaling was perfect, but you're never going to get it perfect. It's difficult, and honestly, I don't think it should be too difficult to actually get a small group of people, even just 2 or 3 people to help you out with something like that.
Well,
hey, there's a dungeon. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm sure people will be up for dungeons.
Yeah, and that is exactly what my experience was. It was so easy to get these people together. It really was. I don't think it was because they were particularly friendly or easygoing people. They were just guys that
interested in the dungeon.
Came along.
What,
yeah.
Dungeon? Oh, I'm interested. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was so easy. So more of that. I love it, and I'll be keeping an eye out on the next beta weekend event. You know, maybe
the last beta weekend event.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get a Asura and Sylvari? for that?
No, I'm pretty much positive that they won't let us have those things.
Yeah, me too. I think they'll be saving those for release, definitely. But yeah, so there you go. I'll be keeping my eye out anyway if there is something new there. And thanks very much, Mike. You any last comments?
My last comments, secrets, and stay tuned to Wooden Potatoes for daily and stuff.
And
Thanks.
Magical Mike, sure. You'll find a link in the description down below.
Oh, give over.
See you next time, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, cool.
Bye. Yeah.
All right, brilliant.